The spirit of do for self, scientists in the hood, here in Detroit. It can only be that it was meant to be. You see what I'm saying? We were dependent on the auto industry at Motown. But that technology was destroying the environment, really, unless they upgrade it. And that's what was that was a contribution that an organization called Drum made, that were based in the auto plants, to make the work environment more friendly to man and mankind. Brothers in Detroit, they always have been on the front line. Now this young brother here, he's a scientist. We're going to let him speak for himself.
Urban Farming Initiative. A little bit of background information on me is that I was born and raised in the city of Detroit, 5 miles from here. I went to Michigan State University. I studied in the College of Agriculture, and I got my degree in food science. I double minored in environmental and sustainability studies, and then brewing and distilling. And then post-college, I joined the Peace Corps, and I was in this rural village in Nepal, focusing on nutrition-sensitive agriculture. So I was just teaching them new or improved agricultural techniques. And then post that, I came back to Michigan. I got a job as an organic chemist in cannabis for a cannabis company, and I didn't really like the lab life, so I got this job, and this is where we are now. So a little bit about this place is that it was founded in 2011, so 8 years ago, by a guy named Tyson Gersh. He noticed that there were two challenges that Detroit were facing. I mean, there's tons of challenges, but these were things that he could do something about. One was the vacant land issue. So there's a lot of vacant land around Detroit, abandoned houses, things like that. And then the second one is the food insecurity issue. So you might have heard of Detroit being called the food desert. So people don't have access or availability or the means to get nutritious foods all year round. So we try to tackle those challenges. How we do that is we have this urban farm here. So we have 3 acres of land in total. The farmland that you can see right now is 1 acre. And on this farm, we have 300 different varieties of produce growing. And since 2011, we've given out over 100,000 pounds of produce to over 2,000 households in a 2.5 mile square radius. So we've given out a lot, and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., that's when we give out the produce, and it's all free. So anyone from the Detroit city or area can come into our farm and pick up the produce right here. The other things that we have on the overall 3 acres are a bunch of different projects in various stages of development. So the first project that I'll tell you about is this resource center right here, the building with the great mural on it. It's currently undergoing some construction renovations. But when it's finished, the top floor will be for our administrative things. And we're also hoping to lease out that space to other organizations that do work along the lines of what we do here. The second floor will be our multi-purpose floor. And so we're hoping that the community can go in there and have their neighborhood meetings, that we can do trainings, workshops. We want to have like an educational component to that floor where we teach people about nutrition, sustainability, composting, agricultural things. And then the bottom floor will be our kitchen. So we'll be doing like packaging and processing of some of our produce. We want to turn it into added value products. Maybe the basil into pesto, or the tomatoes into tomato sauce, the hot peppers into a hot sauce. So that's our goal, I guess, with that community center. The next thing is this shipping container right here. It was given to us by General Motors, and we're turning that into a shipping container house. So it'll have 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a kitchen inside of it. And the second thing that I'll talk to you about is this cistern. I'm going to just take you over there. So a cistern essentially collects rainwater or like melted snow, and it takes it down to the bottom, it collects it, and then we use that water to water all the plants out on the field. So it's like our irrigation, works with our irrigation. And this was an old house, a dilapidated house that was torn down. We cleared out the basement, we lined it with a pool liner, we put like plastic crates in there to create spacing. We covered it with like clay and sand and other rocky stuff that you can see here. Yes. So while it's not enough to supply the entire year for water, it definitely helps offset the amount of water that we use on a regular year. So we save some money, and we use less water that way. But it is very convenient when we do run out of water, because then I can just stick the hose into the cistern and it'll still water everything out there, because it would take forever for me to take the hose from bed to bed and water everything. So it's still pretty convenient even when there isn't water in there. Yes. We get interns and volunteers from all over the world. It's an unpaid internship. And what we would like to do is house them, since we don't really have any funds to pay them. We would like to house them and possibly feed them some of the produce off the farm. This is also currently under construction renovations.
My name is Michael Travis. I am the community liaison of urban farming. What we do in urban farming is we take unused land and space and we help farm it up to help feed the surrounding communities and homeless shelters. We got started in 2005 with 3 gardens, essentially the west side of Detroit, and we yielded over 1 ton of food that year. There are more urban farming gardens here, and there are many more to be planted. Right now, Detroit has over 17,000 unused acres of land, so we actually have some of the most unused land in cities. Land that's been used for housing, so a lot of housing has been swept away. A lot of houses being demolished and brought down, and it's pretty much just disintegrated back to its original form, which is the earth. So we try to change the mindset of people of using unused land and using unused space for edible causes. In the inner city, there really isn't any fresh produce in the inner city. There are a lot of the liquor stores and convenience stores sell like old processed foods and meats and expired, outdated food. We use all organic methods to the gardens. We don't use any chemicals or pesticides. We till the gardens. We add more compost and more topsoil to the gardens to help fertilize the gardens.
I'm Karan from Urban Farming. What we're doing here, these are the new garden plans. We're going to put onions here this year, squash. I'm now the Detroit supervisor, planning supervisor for Detroit. This is Detroit. Let's not forget where we're at. But that's another part of these gardens. It brings the community together. A lot of people participate.
Das zweite Projekt, das ich jetzt besuche, ist ein Vorschlag von Claudia Wigger. Vielen Dank nochmal dafür. Ein befreundetes Künstlerpärchen von ihr nutzt nämlich
It's broadcasting
Stunde und
from all over the planet. It's talking about Detroit.
My name is Mitchko.
Jackie Hunt comes to garden at D-Town Farm in Detroit just about every day. She says growing produce is gratifying.
You want to grow some of those big, luscious tomatoes. You want to get one of those red tomatoes that doesn't have the cracks in the top and the things on the bottom. You want to grow one of those. At least I do. And I want to be able to say, look, I grew this. Isn't this something?
D-Town is a 1.6 hectare farm that grows 35 different kinds of fruit and vegetables. Volunteers plant the farm together and in return get a discount on produce. Jackie says the aim is to give Detroit's residents access to fresh food.
Our charge is to deal with food issues on all levels. We are currently just really getting going. We've developed some work groups. They're going to be launched with our summit this week, which is the powering up the local food system. And the 4 work groups that we've got going are healthy food access, community food justice, schools and institutions, and then the most popular one right now is the urban agriculture work group. What we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage new leadership in the city of Detroit, new activists as far as food issues. And
so my point is this, on local news, you're not going to see nothing but who got shot, who got killed. On YouTube, you're going to see positive things happening in Detroit, not only in Detroit, in other urban cities. Just like I showed you a clip from block clubs getting together in Chicago. But if you go on YouTube, people are going to place what interests them on YouTube, and if it interests you, then go on YouTube and check it out. All this, what I'm showing you, it came across my mind to look it up on YouTube because I'm trying to show you alternative ways of looking at things. Now, white people, when I call them the devil, they might get offended. But look what you've done to the environment. You've been the leaders of things for so long, but you've been doing it wrong. Now you might be doing it right, But we want to show you that the black man is the prime time man. He is the original man. This ain't nothing we ain't did before. We originated all this before. So you just gotta admit it to yourself. You gotta admit it that the black man is the original man. He's the cream of the planet, the God of the universe. Allah is the master of all the worlds. We try to be humble about it, but we can't be humble no more. We got to start chastising. We got to start tongue lashing, giving y'all tongue lashing, because times are getting serious and critical. So, brothers and sisters, with that, I want you to catch this vibe and thumbs up, whatever. Spread the word. See, my message is kind of deep. Black light.